Beloved heart, I invite you to sign up to my mailing list, and as a result of signing up, you will get a free gift. It's a 5D rebalance tune up of all these chakras, and chakras are my specialty. So I would love to gift you with this transmission that is filled with light language and codes to help you stay balanced and tuned up during these increased frequencies of energy of this ascension, this new earth frequency. So check out the links in the notes of this show. And I look forward to connecting with you. I am sending you love. Hello there, my beloved hearts. Welcome back to another episode on my podcast. This is a special one. I'm recording this during the Easter portal of 2025. So during this 2025 Easter portal season, I would say, I felt called for a mystic's prayer. I feel we've been going through a lot of overwhelming, intense stuff going around the world and also in our lives individually, as I've been experiencing it myself through some of my, family situation and all that. But, also like seeing in the collective. So for those who are not going through anything, well, good for you. But I would say for the majority, though, that most of us are really feeling the intensity of the energies of all the great changes, the overwhelming, fluctuation of things going on everywhere. So I wanted to offer this prayer as energy support and heart healing. And as a disclaimer, you don't have to be religious to pray. I feel that prayer has always been around long before religions were structured or known about. And this is, was coming in very intuitively as an intuitive wisdom. But I actually researched it to see if this was the case. And there is some evidence to show that prayer is older than religions, than organized religions, which I will share with you as well. So this prayer is coming from a mystical standpoint and not from a religious standpoint. And to be a mystic is about personal experience, about being a seeker of truth, or in other words, to question everything and not follow blindly. This is how I define to be a mystic. I call it a mystic's prayer because it holds more of an unbiased sacred space, purely based at the soul in direct connection to our source of all that is. And if you're willing to participate, toward the end of this episode, there is a dedicated mystic's prayer for the individual and the collective. But before we go into that prayer, I want to explain what I mean by mystic's prayer and provide some scientific evidence on the use of prayers and also other evidence that may imply why prayer is older than religion. To me, a mystic's prayer feels like entering a sacred, timeless space that connects us to the divine presence within our heart, where you open up to infinite possibilities that is the universal soul. It is a personal experience that is unique to each one of us, so it's less about belief and more about experience. And it's born from direct connection to the infinite, and it is like breathing with the universe. So I usually like to weave prayer with invocation and meditation, and I will briefly explain or define what this means. Prayer is in essence the communion with the divine that involves a conversation, speaking to divine or source of all that is. This source of all that dwells within is part of our I am presence, our heart's sacred space, and it interconnects or emanates to the central point of our every cells, extending past the subatomic levels within that quantum field space. It's like a petition and surrendering and being in silent presence. I would say prayer is more of a transmission to send out a message, like sending a letter out in the mail. Invocation is, in essence, a calling of a specific presence, energy, and divine force that is like summoning or a frequency activation. And this is also like a transmission. Meditation, on the other hand, is both transmission and receiving. So, which can involve different tools like prayers, invocation, and visualization. And visualization involves all aspects of our senses coming to life as a transmission. During a meditation, it allows a moment of receiving messages from divinity by being or remaining receptive, which involves a form of surrendering and using tools like breath work. The order instruction can also be defined by you. So, this is a basic way that I would describe it. So, looking at prayer before organized religion. Before religion, prayer already existed as evidence shows. Humans were already looking up at the stars, studying the stars, speaking to the moon or whispering to the wind, dancing around the fire, grieving the dead, or thanking the earth. And those are forms of prayers that are ancient expressions of reverence, longing, surrender, and awe. And in one particular of these evidence that shows, actually there's two, where there have been some archaeological sites and evidence through some of these caves in Israel, one of them being close to Nazareth and the other one through Mount Carmel. One of them is known as Kaf Zeh, which has shown some humans that have intentionally buried their dead. And this is like more than 100,000 years ago. And it shows indications show of some form of ritual that they would perform to honor their dead ones or the ones who had left the earthly plane in physical form. And they would find some evidence of some tools or flowers or like animal bones to suggest some of their reverence and remembrance. And, possible communication with the unseen, an ancient form of prayer, spiritual ritual long before any codified religion. And other evidence will indicate through some of the cave paintings in places like France and Indonesia. This is, from like 40,000 years ago or more. And I've actually been to the cave in France, and it is in awe to see some of these images, the carvings, they have like different humans and animals and mysterious symbols. The energy of it was just like just being present in it, in person was really amazing. So this, was a symbolism, significance of them also showing some form of like prayer or communication to honor unseen forces or their ancestors as well. So hallmarks of early, mystical consciousness, I would say. So these, are just some examples, some evidence of like some form of prayer coming from our ancient ancestors, ancient wisdom, ancient humans, um, as well as, certainly I do feel that there was some of this as well through some of the lost ancient civilizations, and a lot of which we have stored memory within us too. On a scientific scale of evidence, some others like studies like neuroscience, which has shown brain scans like where they use like functional magnetic resonance imaging studies, which is a form of imaging technique of the brain that measures the blood flow in the brain and shows which areas are most active during tasks, thoughts, or feelings. So, in other words, which part of the brain lights up, right? Especially when in prayer mode or meditation mode or chanting mode. And it activates some of that prefrontal cortex area of the brain and other areas. Which are, involved in focus and self transcendence, emotion, showing that the human brain appears wired for transcendence and connection long before any doctrine, was told to us or how to do it. So, in other words, it comes in natural for us. So, in essence, don't be afraid to pray in your own way. We define our prayers and we connect with the God of our own heart. One of my favorite prayers is by St. Francis of Assisi. I went to his hometown actually in Assisi in Italy. The historical medieval town is still like really well preserved. And I was so impressed by like how much divine feminine energy is present still there. So that was just a whole other experience in itself. And to me, St. Francis energy feels more like a mystic than anything else. And his prayer feels very mystical. So I will share with you as a warm up for our own prayer during these current times. It usually starts with the word Lord, but I'm actually going to change it to beloved source for us. Beloved source, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Unlock your limitless potential with the monthly Multiversal Circle of Creation. This sacred quantum manifestation ritual will awaken your inner power and connect you to the successful versions of yourself across the multiverse. Clear blocks, amplify your creative energy, and set powerful intentions for abundance, love, and possibilities. Activate your galactic aspects, recalibrate your nervous system, and manifest your dreams with cosmic clarity. Available in person and via Zoom. Join us for this transformative experience today. Now let's move to our own prayer. And this prayer is focused on requesting assistance with specific issues or challenges you may be facing at the moment. So you can come to this prayer as often as desire for any new issues or challenges that may come up. We are using this episode as a sacred space for us. I will pause at the point in the prayer so you can state your specific challenge, and we will conclude with collective prayer. So take a very deep breath and hold it in, and slowly release. And let's do 2 more. Another deep breath. Slowly releasing. And 1 more. Slowly releasing. And you may place your hands over your heart if it feels right to you. So let us drop into our hearts, connecting to the cosmic mother of our heart and feeling her presence. And as we also call in our ancestors to be present with us and holding space in this moment. Beloved God of my heart, from the most sacred space of my heart do I call upon your presence to be with me at all times, that I always feel your loving, divine presence, and that I always be divinely protected through your armor of light and love. I am in deep gratitude of my life. I am grateful of your loving presence within me at all times. I am grateful for your continued divine protection. And I am grateful for the ability to be of service by just being and being alive now and serving in other ways on earth that is in alignment to my soul path. Every breath I take, I receive your healing, comfort, and love. I seek your clear, constant guidance for me and my loved ones. Most of all, I seek your guidance and best solution for, you may insert here what issue you may be having or challenge. That this be resolved with ease and grace, and in the highest good of myself and all others. For the collective, I seek your presence be felt in the heart of those who are willing to receive your healing, love, compassion, calmness, peace, and grace. May we all dwell in your light and love through your infinite heart, and that we forever dwell within your infinite heart and be in constant balance and restoration through our true divine essence. With all my love and gratitude, it is done. Thank you for participating in this. You may continue to sit and integrate as much as you desire on your own, but I will conclude this episode with normal means. With much love, I will catch you in the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field, sending you so much love.